Hi folks, today we're lucky enough to have FIVB Beach Volleyball Commentator Lewie Lett with us. He's also a fantastic coach. I know he's worked with a lot of you before, and we're hoping to have him at some fireball events this summer. But I wanted to talk to Lewie about his commentating today. So Lewie, can you just give us a background of how you got into commentating, and why, what's it like, things like that?
My journey to commentating's a bit of a random one actually. We were at Sand Polo in Bournemouth, and they needed somebody to do some MCing, and my father volunteered my services, and I was a little bit like, you know how you feel, a little bit nervous speaking in public, but took the mic, and then all of a sudden that led to doing a little bit on the Volleyball England beach tour with Mark Perkins, who's still a legend of that tour.
Yeah.
So I travelled around, and I was coaching at the time, so basically worked really well that I could do some coaching and do some live event commentary. That then led into some TV stuff, and that was 5 years ago, and all of a sudden, 5 years later, it's turned into a big sort of portion of my career, I think.
Yeah, it's really exciting, and I know it's great to have another top English voice on the international commentating scene. So. Actually, I had a question about that. When you are commentating, when we are listening, a lot of the time your voice sounds a little bit different to what it sounds like normally when I'm talking to you.
Because I have to be a little bit more polished.
Yes, exactly. So talk us through that. Why is that?
More polished. Because I work hard to obviously pronounce my words a little bit better. Because I guess it's a bit more of an art of trying to describe what's going on, and pronunciation's key. I think you also get used to listening to yourself back, and I'm pretty much my own sort of biggest critic in a lot of things I do, so I try and get better at things, and one of those was to make sure that I tried to change my voice a little bit and tried to change the pitch so it wasn't quite as high or annoying, and trying to control it. But it's something that takes a lot of time, I think. I don't think it's anywhere near where it could be or maybe should be, but it's getting better.
It's nice. You have your own style, but and I think a lot of people like that and are engaging with it.
Okay. Guy who just gets excited.
Yeah. And
which you would think by this blog at 10:30 at night. But it just gets excited a lot.
And comes out with like some crazy expressions at times. So that links into my next question. What kind of preparation do you do before you go in to commentate on a game?
It varies. I think now that I've done quite a lot of the world tour, it gets a bit. It doesn't get less, but it just gets a bit different. I think you get to know the teams. Very lucky to have beach volleyball database, so have a look at that if you're into beach volleyball, because it has a lot of stats on it. So it's still, you still have to go and find your own stats, and you still have to make sure you draw it all out of that website. But there's a lot of stats on there, and then it's digging as much as you can, because I think one thing that we've missed out on in beach volleyball is making things of legends and dropping in the names of part of the past to make sure that they're still very much remembered in the sport. So that's digging and trying to find out who's won that tournament in 1980 or something. The other thing is little one-liners and stuff like that. Like I've written one today that I wanted to drop into a commentary, and I put it in my notes. So close quarters combat. So just like little things that strangely like you just come up with and think, that might be a good time when to use it. So there's a few different notes in there that sort of makes my life a bit easier, or makes it a bit more creative at times. So
yes,
stats and creativity, and also getting good at writing your intros, like taking time to. I think is something you can really slack on, but it's also something that if you're doing a big game creates a certain feeling about what you're watching.
Yeah,
so I think that's key.
I guess a lot of your information, as well as coming from the beach volleyball database, will come from knowing the players, getting to know them personally. Mm-hmm. What's it like being at these events alongside some of the best players in the world and getting to know them and things like that? What's it like for you?
Most of the time it's just like being at another event. Like it's similar, that you get to know each other and they're all really good people. So you get to create relationships, and obviously the more that you're there, I'm lucky because of the coaching that I had quite a few friendships anyway. But the more that you're there, the more you get to know them, and the more that they trust you and open up to you, and the more that you can build a story based around them, because really it's storytelling commentary. So creating relationships is really key. So lucky I've got some good friends.
Good, yeah.
Some really good friends.
I'm not going to ask you to pick a favourite friend on the tour or whatever, but I will ask you, what was your favourite tournament that you went and commentated at this year, and why?
Hamburg, the World Championships for sure. There were some really good ones, like Ostrava was fun. Rome was wicked, actually. World Tour Finals was great.
Yeah.
But I think Hamburg was really something else. It was another planet of beach volleyball, because there was a big game every day, and it just kept going. 2 weeks or 10 days, whatever it was, you just had big game after big game, and it meant so much to everyone at that time. So yeah, the atmosphere was amazing. The FIVB and Red Bull did a pretty good job. Yeah, really good job. So,
brilliant. And what is the best game that you personally have commentated on?
Good question. Oh, is it because I can't think of one because there's too many, or because I can't remember? Best game I've commentated on. First one that springs to mind is actually for Lara Ludwig winning in Rome. Was a pretty special occasion after 2 years off the podium.
Yeah.
It's big. World Tour Finals was probably the biggest finals I'd done with Russia. That was great. I just genuinely enjoyed doing the Vikings as well, because they're the top sport. But I can't think of best game I actually watched all season was in Warsaw, I think, where the Vikings came back from 14-11 down in the third. But I wasn't doing that game. But it's the one that springs to mind being most entertaining to win in the second set. Let me keep thinking of that one.
Okay.
But I'll go with Ludwig as an actual spectacle and a big occasion, and someone coming back from having a baby to something that special.
Yeah, I guess it's quite an iconic moment. Where you're exposed to the sport at the top level, you get to see it all the time. You're flying out to lots of places. Where do you see the sport going in the next few years? And who have been the pioneers of this change, would you say?
I would say big serving, so a mixture of trying to pass the system and big out of system spiking, so being good out of system, to then jump setting if you are in system, but you can't really jump set out of system, or if you can, good for you. Moving the ball around, but doing it from a jump setting position to hold the blocker into the centre before running the plate maybe a bit wider. It's just getting more and more to a side indoor volleyball.
Yeah.
So I think the more that you can get closer to that.
I guess as blockers become bigger and they're taking more space, then people are having to do more to move the ball away from them.
Yeah, the big guys are now playing like small guys.
Yeah.
Moving the ball around, making it difficult, trying to go off the hands more. The ball moves quicker than feet, right? So if you can move the ball quicker than feet, then you have a chance to go off the hands.
Yeah, brilliant. And I think my last question for you today is a bit of a mean one. Who's your pick for both the women's and the men's teams for the Olympics next year?
It's pretty tough, right? I think the Vikings won 8 tournaments this year, so it makes them the favourite. But also the Russians won the 2 biggest events of the World Champs and the World Tour Finals, so it's going to be a great battle. But I think the Vikings, if they've I think
assuming I guess that the Russians will be cleared to play after the doping is going on. They
might have to play without a flag, right?
Yeah, fingers crossed that they do, because I think really for beach volleyball we all want to see them there.
I also think that's the next, like, where when I was watching a lot of beach volleyball at the start, you had Phil and Todd against Manuel Allison.
Yeah.
And that's like the next. I think that's the next thing for the next sort of
big rivalry. Yeah. It'll be exciting to see how that shapes up.
But also the Olympics doesn't always live up to that, right? You can get some random. You've got so many good teams, like Todd Vickler, or there's another 5 teams underneath that could surprise.
The Brazilians will not be far away. And on the ladies' side,
I'm gonna go. Oh, you've got so many good teams. I think the women is a lot more open than the men.
You have to pick one.
I said to you in the car the other day, didn't I have to stick with it because I went with it. But I have a sneaky feeling that Ross Kleiman like growing sneakily at the right sort of speed with climbing, adapting from the indoors pretty quickly. But
yeah,
then you've got Melissa and Sarah Pavin, who unreal. Agatha Duda,
yeah,
like Australia. Like
it's exciting.
Australia will be very close.
Yeah,
like very very close.
Exciting.
So yeah, it'll be very cool. Be a very very good Olympic Games, I think.
And on that final note on the Olympics, what are you going to be doing next year at the Olympics?
Be commentating on maybe some beach volleyball, but some other sports as well. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope some beach volleyball.
So what have you done in the past?
Skiing. And table tennis before that. So table tennis at Rio for radio. Was trying to get on the gig for beach volleyball, but it's a bit too early for me. And then I got there for skiing. So skiing's my other passion. But now I'm being used as a bit of a free riding stroke, different sports guy. So we'll see. I might be sat doing some beach volleyball, but also on some climbing or something like that.
Yeah. Looking forward to hearing Louie's gravelly tones at the Olympics next year.
Very gravelly.
Thanks very much, Lewie.
Much,
we've loved having you on, and I'm sure we'll be on soon again. See ya.
Thanks, guys.